Hello everybody and welcome back for the weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. It's a fairly calm week, but there's still plenty of exciting stuff to discuss, as the VR game showcase is one day away and we'll be showing off over 20 new VR games. There's also a handful of titles dropping this week. A newer title has surpassed Gorilla Tag as the #1 Quest title. There's a small chance that we might still get GTA VR. And finally, we have some additional updates on the upcoming Samsung XR headset. Now, there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my long-term sponsor, Kiwi Design. If you need any accessories for your VR headsets, go check out Kiwi Design right now. I've tested tons of different Elite straps with battery packs, and the Kiwi H4 Boost is hands down my favorite. It comes in a standard and Halo strap variant, and can deliver up to 3 hours of additional gameplay. So go click the link down in my description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so let's start this video off like normal with the check-in, and that's what exactly have I been up to in the VR world. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again right now, I'm completely addicted to Fallout 4 VR with Gingus's Essential Overhaul mod. It's just insane. I didn't enjoy Fallout 4 when I played it flat. Like, I played through it, but I was like, man, this game is just meh. But now that I'm playing VR, I feel like I'm in that world. It's absolutely insane. Highly recommended. And I know I said I was probably going to do a Fallout 4 like mod video, but I've watched Gingus's like 50-minute video 7 times now for every little detail on how she set it up. And I don't think I could do it better. So if you guys still want me to do some Fallout 4 VR content, let me know down in the description. But upcoming this week, I'm going to be covering Mythic Realms, which honestly looked so kidsy. I didn't want to cover originally, but I got into it and I can't talk about it yet. I am, however, curious if you guys are interested in that coverage. I didn't think my channel, which has a little bit more of a mature audience, you know, you guys are closer to my age, would enjoy a kidsy looking game like that. So I want to hear your feedback. Either way, I'm still planning to cover it, but I want to know for the future. But let's stop wasting time and get into this week's new releases. First up is that title I just mentioned, Mythic Realms. This is a kid-friendly RPG title with roguelike elements that switches between augmented and virtual reality. If you're interested in hearing more, I will have my coverage up on Thursday. Now, next up, we have Path of Fury, which is an on-rails kung fu fighting title inspired by action movies like John Wick. It's almost like a fighting version of Pistol Whip, which actually sounds awesome, but when I played the demo, I just couldn't get into this game. I wasn't feeling the low poly graphics, the combat was lacking impact, and it just didn't have the same flow or feel of something like Pistol Whip. And unfortunately, those are the only games I have on this week's list of new releases. Luckily though, we're also getting the VR Game Showcase, which is giving us over 20 new titles. We already know we're going to see some new stuff from Flat the VR, something from Triangle Factory, the studio that gave us Breachers and Hyperdash, and some updates regarding Hitman World of Assassination. Now that right there is already a very solid lineup, so I'm definitely looking forward to this event, and I will immediately have a recap video up that'll not only show off everything that was included, but also give you any additional information or opinions I may have. Now moving into new game announcements and updates, we have yet another simulation title on the way, and this time you get to practice your electrician skills. Now definitely don't take the word simulator literally, because if you learn to be an electrician from this game, you'll most likely burn down your house. As the trailer itself says, become an electrician, sort of. Now for the Walkabout mini golf fans, they've just released DLC number 8 billion with Mount Olympus. This is a brand new course of godlike proportions. Honestly, there's not much more to say here, as Mighty Coconut constantly releases these stunning new courses, and this one is no exception. Now for the old school PC VR fans, I'm happy to report that the titles from Insomniac games are back on the Rift store. This includes Edge of Nowhere, Feral Rights, and Stormland. The Unspoken is still currently unlisted, but that should also be resolved in the near future. This is a bizarre and frequent occurrence with these titles, as they're constantly getting delisted and relisted. I'm not exactly sure, there's most likely some weird licensing involved, but whatever the case, I'm just happy they're back up because they were top quality games. And speaking of top quality games, sort of, Animal Company has surpassed Gorilla Tag as the top earning Meta Quest title. If you're not familiar with this game, it definitely takes inspiration from Gorilla Tag, but also smashes in some horror elements similar to the title Lethal Company. Now, similar to Gorilla Tag, this is the type of game I look at and just scratch my head and go, why? Just why? I know Gorilla Tag has made over $100 million, which is absolutely insane, and I don't get it, but I'm not part of the younger generation. They're obviously having fun with this game, they're buying up DLC stuff, and it's making money, And recently, Meta talked about how 70% of the Quest usage time is on free-to-play apps. So they've definitely tapped into something. It might not be for me. It probably isn't for my viewer base, which, like I said, is a bit older, closer to my age. But they're doing something that somebody out there likes, and I'm not going to knock it. So good for them. But getting into something that I would truly like, it looks like there's still a small possibility that we could one day see GTA VR. Rockstar Games has recently acquired Video Games Deluxe, the same studio that gave us the LA Noire VR case files, and was also working on the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas port. Now, previously I heard some internal rumbling that Meta wasn't fully on board with Deluxe Games handling the entire port of GTA San Andreas, which led to a little bit of a fallout between them and Rockstar Games. Now, that was all secondhand information and probably even a little bit of speculation, but regardless, I don't think this acquisition is going to immediately change anything, so let's try not to get our hopes up for GTA VR. Now, in a nicer turn of events, it looks like Meta has backtracked on promoting the use of their OpenXR system, their Unreal and Unity integration, which was recently condemned because it undermines other headsets. It blocks other PC VR headsets from working. So obviously that goes against the whole nature of OpenXR. We wanted one system that works for all headsets that makes it easier for developers. Well, going forward, this is what Meta will recommend. They're going to recommend the actual integration from Unreal and Unity and not their own brand. So at least that's a nice turn of events. Probably only happened because of backlash, but it's nice to see anyway. And last up, it looks like the first Android XR headset from Samsung will be launching in the third quarter of this year. Now, while I'm desperately looking for some competition to go against Meta, it doesn't look like this will be the headset to do it. Currently, it's projected that they're only producing 100,000 headsets per year, and it'll also have a very high price tag. Now, it reportedly has an extremely high-resolution micro OLED display, to the point that it even rivals the Apple Vision Pro, and again, it's going to be targeting more of that market and not what the Meta Quest does. Now, this is definitely disappointing for me because one, it's going to be more of an Apple Vision Pro competitor, so it's going to focus on flat apps and pass-through, which is fine, but I don't think is ready for mainstream, and especially at that price tag. With all the current economic uncertainty going on and people budgeting even more than ever, how can you put out such an expensive product? It's gonna be niche. 100,000 units a year is not gonna change the world, unfortunately. So the Meta competition isn't here. I'm glad to see new stuff coming out. It always changes the industry. It gives people different ideas of what direction to push in, or there might be one killer feature on it that can be brought over to other products. However, this is just not going to have the impact I was hoping for or expecting. But what do you guys think? How do you feel about this? Let me know down in the comments. That was today's video. If you enjoyed it, boom, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.